morning, good afternoon, wherever in the world you are. It's not always about being right. Nobody's right all the time. And the problem is, most of us, when we're talking to people or whenever we engage in conversation or if you're in relationships and things like that, most of the time there's a never ending tug of war of who is right, as if that's the point. It's never the point about being right. Nobody's right all the time. But your goal should never be to be right. The goal should always be to understand. Because if I'm a human being and you're foreign, like you're an alien, you're from outer space, you don't know anything about Earth or Earthlings, when we communicate, our goal is to understand each other. It's not about who is right and who's wrong. You understand? Like, that's not the basis of communication. We communicate to see if we can understand things from each other. And when you're talking to people in regular conversation or in relationship-wise, that is the goal. That should be the only goal as far as when you're communicating with each other. Do you understand what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say, where I'm coming from? Not, am I right, or I'm right because this is the right way, or because this is going on, or because you didn't do this, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the point. It's never the point. And when you start making it your point to just be right all the time, or to always engage in conversation with the goal in mind to be right, or trying to prove somebody wrong, that they were wrong about an argument you guys had or something you said, you missed the whole point. The whole point is, do you understand? And here's the thing about understanding. It doesn't require you to be right. It does not even need your confirmation of being correct. It does not need it. It's not required, doesn't demand it, none of that. Being right is just being right, and that's fine. But nobody's right all the time. And because you're not right all the time, it should never be your goal to try to be right all the time. You know, it gets very frustrating, gets irritating. It's not pleasant at all. And no one wants to deal with people who think they're right all the time. All you really need to do is thank yourself for understanding, or get to a level where you are understanding of what someone is saying. It does not require you to be right. So don't engage in conversations when people always think that they're right, or you see that they just want to be right. Some people just let you talk because you just want to be right, you know? Don't even engage in conversations with those type of people. And if you are one of those type of people, stop for a second and recognize and ask yourself, am I one of those type of people? Do I always have to be right? Do I always have to have this last word in? You don't need to have a last word in to be right. You don't always have to try to prove someone wrong just to prove yourself right. If you know you were wrong, you can just accept that and apologize for it, you know, if it needs an apology. Or if you know you're right, you don't have to prove to people that you're right. Just know that you're right and accept that. It does not always require you to make another person feel bad so that you can make yourself feel good or feel better than you did. That's not the basis of communication. We talk, we communicate to understand each other. So when it comes to us as men and women, remember that that's the goal. It's not to disprove you or your theory or your belief, and it's not to further extend proof of mine into what I think and what I believe. It's just about understanding perspectives. Do you get where I'm coming from? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And that's it. Don't be right all the time. Don't strive to be right all the time when you're talking to somebody, because no one wants to deal with a person like that. Everybody doesn't get things right all the time, and you are no exemption. You will fail. You will be wrong. You will not get it at some point. Give that same extension of leniency to others as much as you should yourself. So don't always be right. Just strive to understand, because that's the only goal that really matters. Got it? Once again, Motivation Monday.